Hey guys, this is Locke. A few days ago, I put out a video showing how this team with Gilgamesh can beat Yuna teams, light teams very easily. So now I'm going to show you how light teams can beat Gilgamesh. Basically the exact reverse of what I showed you last time. All you have to do is you have to reconfigure how your light team is set up. So the way that I've set this up is that I've made Yuna become a DPS instead of a support. So how I did that, I was able to take off all of her support skills. Like I've turned it off for duel. I've turned off prayer, I've turned off re-raise, I've turned off Kuraga, and I've turned off full life. So she just has sonic wings, enhanced holy, her other skills from the Kotodoma sub, and her the skill energy ray, her LB, left on. And since a lot of people have been putting magic resist, a lot of magic resist onto their units to make them beefier against Yuna, I have given her Garvel's TMR. What this TMR does is it reduces the magic resist of the opponent. So if I meet an opponent that has 50% magic resist, if I use this skill, she will be able to penetrate 50% of that, and that unit will now only have 25% magic resist. So the reason that this works is because if you look at Yuna's stats, by the way, I was finally able to get Bahamut, so that is why this is working now, and I can actually show you videos like this. Otherwise, my light team would kind of be subpar. But anyway, now that I have Bahamut, if you look at her stats, she has like 1300 magic, right? And that's all I need. I don't even have a trousseau on here. I just have that. And I've given her a very good magic weapon. It's the maxed out +5 version of Sakura staff. And I expect her to do a lot of damage. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about why I had to turn off the re-raise. So what happens if I leave re-raise on is that basically she will waste her turn, because she will cast re-raise on a unit, maybe herself or another unit, and she will not even move. She will stand still because that's just the way her AI is programmed. So basically, she completely wastes one turn doing nothing, and stays back while all my other units probably go forward. So she spent her turn doing that, and Gilgamesh, he doesn't just spend a turn removing Ray Race, he does a lot of damage while he does it. So I'm already down one turn, and basically, like, everybody's doing a lot of damage. Like, Yuna will do a lot of damage, Gilgamesh will do a lot of damage. I'm basically losing uh, out of the DPS race by forfeiting one turn of doing absolutely nothing. That's what it comes out to. So therefore, I had to remove the ability of her to act as a support and only do a lot of damage, and it works out really well. Now, because I noticed that ice teams generally have a lot of slash damage, like they have Gilgamesh, they have Aron, a lot of times they have Agrius, I put my tank, Warrior of Light, as very high slash resist. So I've given him 85% slash resist. Now, oftentimes when they have Gilgamesh, that's 85% slash resist is going to go down, but it's still very powerful. Like, he is still able to handle quite a bit of damage. Um, and on top of that, I have this vision card, Snow White Guard, which gives my light team area resistance of 15%, and of course Bahamut gives my whole light team a area, not area, but single target resist of 20%. So this is on top of the other resist that I have. Like, for example, I have the 20% slash resist coming across the board from Solidus. Um, and so that's how the team works. Now, something else that I'm doing is I have, so the very first turn, Yuna's going to go first, and she's going to stand still, and she's going to use her TMR ability. Then I'm going to have Sakura move, and Sakura, I would like her to go left towards Yuna and use her buff, which is, I forgot the name, so I have to look it up. A heart like needles, which increases the magic attack of Yuna. So that's what Sakura does. And my Warrior of Light, he's the only one that's going to go forward and use his hate buff. So basically, on my opponent's side, two of the enemies should go towards Warrior of Light because of the hate buff, and one of them should go towards Yuna. So now I have Yuna and Sakura fighting 2 versus 1 against whatever enemy I have there, and I have two enemies trying to take out Warrior of Light, and they probably will not even succeed because he's so beefy. And Yuna just keeps tearing them apart. Like, oftentimes I find my Sakura actually dies from whoever she's fighting. Like I've seen Gilgamesh being able to one shot my Sakura, and that's okay. My Yuna can actually like completely take them out by herself. I've sometimes in some fights when my Warrior of Light dies really early, my Yuna is able to like 3v1 with like no healing. Her counter does proc quite a few times, but like she's able to dish out so much damage. The reason she usually doesn't dish out so much damage is because you hit her and she's healing herself and healing herself and healing herself, and by the time she's done healing, she's usually dead because like enemies have gone like 2 or 3 turns in between or something. So that's how I have reconfigured my team, and it has worked out. I'm just gonna talk about the team first, and then I'm gonna stop talking and just play through some matches that I've already done with this team. So when does this team not work? If I am fighting against a Gilgamesh that has Yuna support, this team will not work. And the reason it won't work is because my enemy is able to cast re-raise on one of his own units. So I have to kill the unit, and then it's going to get re-raised, and might even get healed back to full health again, and then I have to kill it again. So it's almost like I'm fighting 4 units with my 3, and like most of the time I've tried it like 4 or 5 times. Most of the time I fail. So if I am fighting a Gilgamesh with the Yuna, I expect to lose. So I don't use that team. I go back to using this team. Uh, because basically Gilgamesh removes re-raise. So if I meet a Yuna that's going to cast re-raise, I use Gilgamesh to take that off. If I meet a Gilgamesh, I use Yuna, but I use Yuna offensively. So basically, I'm using Yuna to kill Gilgamesh, and I'm using Gilgamesh to kill Yuna, basically, right? So it all depends. Most of the fight, or most of what you're doing, is actually deciding how you're going to set up your team. That's really what arena boils down to, because I'm using the exact same units as my opponents. I've just configured them differently to be able to win the fight. Is there any other notes? Oh, by the way, I think this is kind of interesting because a lot of people talk about equipment. This is the weapon I'm using on Sakura for all these fights. It's a Sage Staff, a Vital Sage Staff, which is not great. Like, people, if they're using a Sage Staff, generally want Magic Sage Staff because the magic on the magic version of the Sage Staff goes up to 226 or something like that. So I only have 185, and it's at +0, but it's good enough. So just to note that you don't need the best gear to do well, right? Um, any other notes? I think that's about it. I don't think I have anything else to mention here. I mean, I can show you all my units and the passives and just talk about them very quickly, I guess. These are my passives. The things that I have turned off here, I mentioned already, were her healing skills and her revive skills. Everything else is turned on. For Sakura, I have all of her skills turned on, but I want her to really use the skill first. Um, so if your Sakura is doing something else, oh actually, so I have to turn nimble movement off. If your Sakura is doing something else first, you want her to use Heart of Needles first. So turn off other skills that she's using and make her use this if you want to copy my build, that is. For Warrior of Light, I have him under the Warrior of Light subjob, and I gave him I've only turned on Stop Strike. I've turned all the other skills off, even on his main in his main job, because debuff is really powerful. So I just want him to stop my enemy units. He does do quite a bit of damage, I find, but still, I mainly run him just to like stop my opponents and do his job as a tank. Um, yes, I think that's all the comments that I have. If you have more questions about the build or any suggestions or any questions, like again, just leave them below in the comments. I hope you liked this video, and I hope it was clear enough. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe if you did. Take care now. Enjoy the rest of the video.